The forest was never silent. Even on the laziest of afternoons, when the sun hung golden between the branches and the air smelled of pine and warm earth, there were always sounds. The chirp of birds, the buzzing of bees, the whisper of leaves swaying with the breeze. But on this particular afternoon, a sound rolled through the forest that silenced every smaller voice. A roar. It wasn't the kind of roar that came from a bird startled or a rabbit squeaking. This was deep, fierce, and strong enough to rattle the leaves. Every creature froze. Squirrels halfway up trees, deer in the middle of grazing, even the crickets beneath the grass. For they knew that roar belonged to one creature only, the lion, king of the forest. And when the lion roared like that, it meant he was in no mood for games. The reason for his roar lay at his paws. A fine, fat deer he had brought down after a long, careful hunt. The animal had been swift and clever, but the lion had been swifter, and now it was stretched before him, proof of his strength. His golden mane bristled with pride as he crouched low, ready to sink his teeth in. But before he could take even the first bite, another sound split the air. A heavy growl, deep and rumbling. Out from between the trees lumbered the bear. His great body moved with surprising speed for such size, and his dark fur gleamed with muscle beneath. His small eyes gleamed with hunger as they landed on the deer lying at the lion's feet. "Well, well," the bear rumbled, his voice like rocks grinding together. "What a meal! And how thoughtful of you to catch it for me." The lion raised his head slowly, his golden eyes flashing. "For you?" he said, his tone dripping with disbelief. "This is my kill, bear. Hunt your own meal." The bear's lips curled in a half-smile, half-snarl. "Why waste my strength when you've already done the work? You have meat enough for days. I'll be taking this one." And with that, he lumbered forward. The lion's mane bristled. He stepped over the deer, his claws sinking into the earth. "Come closer," he warned, his voice sharp as the thorns on a bush. "And you will regret it." The bear growled louder. "I regret nothing but wasting time. Stand aside, cat, or I'll toss you aside with one swipe." That was the end of words. With a furious snarl, the lion lunged. The bear met him with a roar of his own, and the two collided with such force that the ground itself seemed to tremble. The fight began. Claws flashed, teeth snapped, and the forest rang with the sounds of snarls and roars. The bear swung his heavy paws like clubs, each strike strong enough to break branches. The lion leapt and slashed, his muscles rippling, his golden mane flying as he struck again and again. Dust rose from the forest floor as they grappled, their strength so great that smaller animals fled for safety, darting into burrows, nests, and shadows. The deer, the prize of their battle, lay forgotten between them, untouched, its still body waiting. On and on they fought. The lion's roar shook the air. The bear's growls rumbled through the ground. They clawed, they bit, they shoved and slammed, each determined to be the victor. Minutes stretched into what felt like hours, until at last both combatants grew weary. The bear panted, his chest heaving, his fur torn in patches. The lion's sides rose and fell with heavy breaths, his golden coat marked with scratches. Both stood trembling, glaring at each other, too proud to back down, but too exhausted to strike again. And that was when another sound slipped into the clearing. A light, quick sound. Soft footfalls. Out from behind a tree trotted the fox. Sleek, red-furred, and sharp-eyed, the fox had been watching from the shadows all along. He was far too clever to involve himself in a fight between the lion and the bear. What chance did his thin legs and slender jaws have against their raw power? No, fighting wasn't his way. Watching and waiting, that was where the fox excelled. Now, as the lion and the bear stood gasping, too weak to move, the fox's eyes slid to the deer lying in the dirt between them. A slow, sly smile spread across his pointed face. "Well, well," he said in a silky voice, stepping forward with deliberate calm. What do we have here? A feast fit for a king, or perhaps for a clever fox? The lion's eyes snapped to him, glowing with fury. The bear's head jerked up, lips curling back in warning, but neither moved. Neither had the strength left to chase him away. The fox bowed politely, his tail swishing. "Don't mind me. I'll just tidy up what you've both left behind." And with that, he sank his sharp teeth into the deer, dragged it quickly from between the two exhausted fighters, and trotted off into the trees. The lion let out a frustrated growl, too breathless to roar. The bear gave a low moan of anger, but sank to his haunches, unable to pursue. From the shadows, the fox's laughter drifted back. "While two fight," he called, his voice lilting with triumph, "the third may win the prize." And he vanished into the forest, leaving the lion and the bear with nothing but their wounds and their pride. Moral of the story: while the strong waste their strength in quarrel, the clever may seize the reward.